Hello, you guys. So we are having a discussion on the Henrietta House of Horrors, the Jesse McFadden case. I mean, if you want, whatever you want to call it, tonight on my channel, me and several other creators, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I had grabbed this article and I wanted to make sure you guys saw it, and it's quite long, so I thought maybe it would be better to do a pre-recorded premiere to show you guys the article, and then we're going to have the panel tonight at 9:30 Eastern. Okay, so this came out yesterday from the Oklahoman. And it says, before the killings, Jesse McFadden sexually assaulted people and he was a con man, and he only got worse. So after sexually assaulting a 17-year-old girl at knife point, Jesse McFadden wrote from prison that he had changed. He told a judge in a 2004 letter that, quote, "the future is all that's left to me," unquote, because there's no changing the past. "I know what I done was a horrible thing to do to another person," he wrote in his request for time off his sentence. "I feel very bad for what I've done. It's something that I think about every day. I'd like to get out and prove that I've changed and am a better person." Despite those words at age 21, what emerges from court and prison records is a disturbing picture of a sex-driven con man who only got worse as the years went by, and who blamed drugs and alcohol for what he said was, quote, "the rubble that I've made of my life," unquote. His prison records also reveal he was an admitted racist. This never had to happen. Jesse McFadden's delayed trial before Henrietta killings prompts calls for reform. Last week, on his rental property near Henrietta, he fatally shot his wife, her 3 teenage children, and 2 teenage girls who were there for a slumber party, authorities said. He then shot himself with a 9mm pistol his wife had bought before they married last year. Their bodies were found outside May 1st. All had been shot in the head. No note was found, and he was 39 years old. Agents from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation have taken over the case. The lead agent has told the family of one victim they are checking the property for other bodies. The victim, who lived with McFadden, were identified as his wife, Holly, her children, Riley, Michael, and Tiffany, and then 2 victims that were visiting. That was Ivy and Brittany. McFadden had been free since October 30th, 2020, after serving 16 years, 9 months, and 15 days in prison. His mother picked him up from Joseph Harp Correctional Center in Lexington, and he first lived in McAllister. Me and Holly Guest married in Okmulgee. Their first university would have been May 26th. Her mother, Janet Mayo, said she met him through an inmate that she was on an inmate pen pal program with. McFadden got Holly's information when he stole pages out of another inmate's address book, the mother said. And he started writing Holly, acting all sweet and innocent. He was, as I put it before, a monster in sheep's clothing. He knew how to charm and come off like a perfect gentleman and an angel. Everybody mistreated him. He was misunderstood, and that's what he had done before. And what he had done before was a mistake, Mayo said. She gave second chances where people didn't deserve them. And you guys, I apologize. You're going to hear birds and kids and all the things in the background. But that's just part, it's part of it here, but welcome. Happy to have you here. Okay, so the mother also said McFadden paid a woman to impersonate the sexual assault victim and tell Holly what happened in 2003 was a misunderstanding. See, I have some questions about that. Says born in Kansas, he dropped out of school there after 9th grade, according to the records. He was living in McAllister when he began to get in trouble with the law, the first time for being in possession of a beer underage. And then he stole from his own grandfather 5 days before Christmas in 2002. He was put on probation in 2003 after pleading guilty to a felony, grand larceny in a dwelling house. He also had to spend 90 days in the Pittsburgh County Jail and was ordered to pay $64,000 in restitution. He was caught twice in 2003 driving under suspension. Wow. This is the Joseph Harp Correctional Center where he was at, where he just got out of in 2020. He then committed the essay on November 2nd, 2003, at a trailer home in Canadian Shores, about 21 miles north of McAllister. He pled no contest to the felony charge just 2 weeks later and was sentenced to 20 years. His probation on the grand larceny case was revoked. After arriving in prison, he told officials, "I stole $80,000 from my grandpa's safe, blew it on drugs and unnecessary things," according to the records. About his SA crime, he said he got spun out on dope, vodka, and antipsychotic drug, and, quote, "lost control of myself and SA'd one of my friends," unquote. Prosecutors told prison officials that he tied the victim by her hands and feet to a bedpost, cut her shirt off, put a knife to her throat, and threatened to use it if she did not shut up. The rape victim, Crystal Strong, now 36, has spoken about her ordeal by name to media since these crimes occurred. "I was like screaming pretty loud, like, get off me, and like crying. And he said, 'If you don't stop screaming, I'll kill you right there,'" Strong said. "She was my best friend." Oh, this is another article, I'm sorry. She told the Oklahoman he was dating a friend and they had only met a couple of times. She described him as weird. "He showed up at her dad's trailer home at 2 or 3 in the morning, banging repeatedly on the door," she recalled. "He claimed his girlfriend had broken up with him and he needed a place to stay. I said, 'That's not my problem. You need to go home. Figure it out. My dad's not here.' And then I think I went to shut the door and he pushed his way through. And the next thing I know, I have a sock in my mouth and I was being drugged through the house and tied to my bed and the whole knife thing." She fled after the assault, and she recalled being told McFadden was caught by a river and had slit his, you can see right there. I'm trying not to say too many words to flag, although I've already said, enough. But okay, so she moved to Kansas afterward, and she still lives there. Jesse McFadden started getting in trouble in prison even before he asked a judge for less time. His misconduct was for having tobacco in his cell. His judge refused in November of 2004 to modify his time. In 2005, he told a corrections case manager not to house him any further with black people, the records show. Yes, you heard that right. He said, "I was raised around the Klan. A lot of my family is Klan. I am a racial person," he wrote. The first sexual incident was reported in 2009. He was caught naked in a cell with another inmate. The next incident was in 2010 when an inmate accused him of SA. McFadden admitted to relationships with the inmate and was disciplined internally. In 2013, he was caught with a cell phone for the first time after a woman reported he had been messaging her for months, according to the records. The woman reported she stopped responding after finding out he was in prison, and she said he then began sending threatening texts. He was caught again with the cell phone in 2016 and admitted to the misconduct. The second time, he was also charged in 2017 in Muskogee County District Court with sex crimes. He was accused in one felony count of sexting with a minor and a second felony count of possessing juvenile pornography. On the phone were found a sexual video of a 16-year-old girl and photos in different stages of undress, a prison investigator reported. Also found were photos of a male exposing himself. Despite those misconducts and others, he completed his sentence under Department of Corrections calculations that gave him credit for such things as good behavior and time spent in jail. That time in jail was 76 days, moving his release date to October 30th, 2020, the Corrections Department said. He was jailed in his 2017 case after getting out of prison. He was released from jail on a $25,000 bond, and the case was delayed repeatedly. His jury trial in that case was set to begin May 1st, and he didn't show up. Prosecutors revealed in court filings that at one point McFadden tried to get the victim to claim he was actually in a secret romantic relationship with one of her older friends. There is Ivy's dad and Ivy's brother. At the house. He also tried to get her to claim she'd been talking and texting with another inmate, not McFadden. Prosecutors called McFadden manipulative and controlling. They revealed in court filings he wrote her letters that they would get married and have children. McFadden wrote the victim one more time, April 30th, on Facebook, according to messages she shared with the media. I did exactly what I would do when I got out. I got a marketing job making great money, and I was being advanced there 2 years now and made a great life like I promised I would do with you. Now it's all gone. I told you I wouldn't go back. This is all on you for continuing this. So he's an absolute monster. It is so disturbing that not only was he caught having relations with people in jail, but he was accused of assaulting people in jail, SAing people in jail. This man should have never been walking the streets. And from a crime that took place in 2017, it's 2023. This is absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, I hope you guys will join me tonight. We're going to sit down on panel with Jen Lou, Melissa Jade, Decipher Girls, Kate Does Crime possibly, and any of you guys who want to join. I can't wait to see you there. And yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'll see you soon as we try to keep untangling this mess. And there is more things to look at as well. It's just this was quite long. So, all right, you guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.